the organisation needs a clear strategy. It needs to be well communicated to every part of the organisation. Every part of the organisation needs to know how they're contributing, where they fit in, and they need to be aiming towards that same goal. So I think sometimes if you just, where you have that pure savings approach, that can detract from that because it's too limiting. And it's definitely where with the evolution of procurement as a function is going. But there's work to be done because savings are relatively, I say relatively, depends, easy to measure and easy to understand and comprehend, whereas the value side of it is much more difficult.
It's very difficult. It's very difficult. So, we've just done a piece of work for we did it last year for the biggest bid that WSP actually undertook. And my team spent some time running an RFP process for a constituent sub-consultant for that bid.
Right.
And we made 15 to 20% savings, I can't remember now, for this particular element. That's fine. You could track that. Right? How much you spend, how much did I save? But trying to work out what the value of us actually doing that piece of work in terms of us getting more work, that's harder. It's so much more difficult.
And it's going to take time. And, it's something that we've struggled with because we don't know how to kind of encapsulate it, to be honest, and present it back to, the C-suite and say, well, this is the kind of indirect impact we have had on winning work. It's kind of like marketing attribution. You might see that if you're a kind of B2C company marketing to individuals, you might be doing Google AdWords or I don't know LinkedIn advertising if it's more B2B, and you might be getting clicks on Google, but your traffic might look like it's coming directly.
Yeah.
So, but the indirect attribution of that is that somebody's seen your advert on Google or on the TV or wherever it might be. And that's influenced them to the point that when it comes to actually making a decision to click on your website or make a purchase or do whatever, that's influenced it.
That's a really good analogy, actually.
Yeah, it's that kind of marketing attribution model, which does take time because how you operate with suppliers could affect a bid further down the line.
Yeah.
But because you've built that really good relationship with that supplier and you've got everything completely lined up, when it comes to the bid, it's just absolutely nailed.
And just one quick, because you talked about creating that relationship with that supplier. So the savings were one thing. One of the pieces of feedback we found really interesting during that process was post the bid, everything was kind of shut and done. The suppliers came back and said, you know what, we really liked the process that you guys had run. Never really done that before, but it was super structured. We kind of knew what we were being measured against. You were open in terms of where we needed to kind of get to. And that structure, they really valued it. And they said that actually makes us want to work with WSP more. So when we're out there and we're on this framework and we want to pick some suppliers, it's not just about the savings. It's actually about kind of creating that impression of us and what we're like as a company to work with. Because everyone talks about wanting to be easy to do business with. That was a prime example where we tried to show some of these organizations that actually, if you're going to work with WSP, it'll be in a systematic, measured and measurable approach. And I think they really, really like that.